Hello learners, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. In this part we will see the Hamilton's principle and the deduction of the Hamilton's principle. This Hamilton's principle in the classical mechanics, it describes the motion of the dynamical system from one point to the another point within a given time interval, suppose t1 to t2 at the point A and B, suppose. So this principle basically states that the motion of the dynamical system from time t1 to t2 between the 2 points A and B is such that the line integral, that is S equal to integration over the Lagrangian into dt over t1 to t2 time, it is stationary for the actual path of the motion. That is, it has the extremum value. Extremum value means it may be the maximum or it may be the minimum. Okay, so its value remains stationary for this path, that is A to B. Its path remains for the actual path of motion, or for the actual path of motion, this integral remains stationary. But here there are maybe the possibility of these paths. Okay, now we will consider for this path also, and finally we will calculate that this path, that is S equal to L dt, will be extremum or the stationary value. According to the Hamilton's principle, the path actually traversed in a conservative holonomic dynamical system from time t1 to t2, it is 1 over which the integral of the Lagrangian between the limit t1 and t2 is stationary. Okay, simply this is S equal to L dt integration, that is t1 to t2. It has the extremum value of the time integral of the Lagrangian, and here S equal to the Hamilton's principal function for the path. So this S represents the Hamilton's principal function. And now if I will integrate this, that is delta of integration of this L dt, so this will give, here you can see S equal to integration over t1 to t2 L dt. It has the extremum value. If I will take delta of L dt, then this goes to 0. This goes to 0. So this delta represents the variational symbol. So this principle, it helps to distinguish between the actual path from the neighboring path. So the condition for the actual path of motion is that the integration value should be extremum 1. Now we will deduce that relation for the Hamilton's principle. So let us consider that the conservative holonomic dynamical system, it moves from point P to Q, where P and Q are the initial and final configuration of the system at time t1 and t2 respectively. Now you can see this diagram. This is your P point and this one is your Q point. This is your actual path and these are the different path. These are the different path. Okay, you can see. So here the PQ bar, it is the actual path, and PR prime Q and PR double prime Q, these are the two neighboring path out of the infinite number of possibilities. So you can see here, if I will fix this point P and Q, I can join this point P to Q by infinite number of paths. Okay, but here I am considering only the two. This one is R prime and this is your R double prime, and the actual path distance is, suppose this actual path is your R. So for the deduction of the Hamilton's principle, so you have to consider the two conditions, that is the del t, that is the change in time, it must be equal to 0 at the end point, that is at this point P the del t equal to 0 and at this point del t equal to 0. That is at t1 the particle must be at P and at t2 the particle must be at Q. That is, if you will choose this path R, then at this point also, at this path also the particle will be at the point P, and at this point PQ, at the point Q the particle also present at this point. And also if you choose any of this path, always you will find the particle to be present at the P point or it may be present at the Q point. And the second condition is that the delta R must be equal to 0 at the point P and Q. That is, here there will be no difference between, that is, if the line is just like this, so you will get the difference between these two. and you can get the difference between them. But here since delta r equal to 0, so you can choose any of this path, you will always get this delta r equal to 0, and also you will get delta r equal to 0 at the point Q. Let the system be acted upon by a number of forces represented by F, and let ith particle of the system acted by the force Fi, it acquire the acceleration Ri double dot, so that I can write, since Fi, that is the force equal to mass into acceleration, I can write for the ith particle this Fi equal to mi into acceleration means ai I can write. Since acceleration equal to rate of change of velocity, and again velocity is the rate of change of displacement, I can write d square r by dt square, or simply this is equal to r double dot, or I can write this will be mi ri double dot I can write. Now if I will use the D'Alembert's principle, that is Fi minus mi ri double dot dot delta ri equal to 0, and also we can separate this two term, that is Fi dot delta ri minus mi ri double dot dot delta ri to be 0. But here ri double dot dot delta ri equal to d by dt of ri dot dot delta ri minus ri dot dot d by dt of delta ri we can write. That is, if we will take first derivative of this expression, that is there are two functions. If I will take first, this is your u, this one is your v. So now we can write d by dt of ri double dot. So sorry, d by dt of ri dot means this will be your ri double dot dot del ri. Okay. Now for this term I am differentiating, plus this will be ri dot dot d by dt of delta ri, and also this term is present, minus ri dot dot d by dt of delta ri. Now these two terms are same, having the negative sign and the positive sign, so this term get cancelled. So the remaining term will be ri double dot dot delta ri. So I can represent this expression like this, that is the your equation 2, we can represent like this. Now if there is a little variation along the actual path ri and the neighboring path ri dash, that is here this prime represents the variation. Okay, so here delta ri can be written as ri prime minus ri. Since if I am finding there are two different paths, that is suppose this is your ri and this is your ri prime, and there is a small variation between this will be delta ri equal to ri prime minus ri. Again if I will take the derivative, d by dt of delta ri on the left hand side will be equal to d by dt of ri prime minus d by dt of ri. I can represent like this. Again, since this is the variation, that is since we are writing ri prime minus ri, it is the delta ri. Similarly, the derivative of this function, this derivative of the function, that is the small change we can write in terms of delta of dri by dt. This is also the change in this part. So now we can write delta of dri by dt is nothing but delta of ri dot. Now from this equation 2 I can substitute this value, that is ri double dot dot delta ri, this will be equal to d by dt of ri dot dot delta ri minus ri dot, in place of this I can write this will be delta into ri dot. Okay, I can represent like this. This is your dot. Now if I substitute this value in the equation 1, this is your equation 1, that is sum over I fi dot delta ri minus mi ri double dot dot delta ri equal to 0. So if I substitute this value, so this will be fi dot delta ri will remain as it is, minus this will be sum over mi. In place of ri dot delta ri, I will put this value, that is the ri dot delta ri will be equal to this much. So that is equal to 0. If I substitute this value in equation 1, I will get this expression. Now we can solve this one. So this is equal to fi dot delta ri minus sum over mi. This is d by dt of ri dot dot delta ri minus, in place of ri dot dot delta ri dot, I can write this is your 1 by 2 delta of ri dot square, because if I will take the derivative of this will be 2 into delta ri dot into this will be ri dot. So this 2 get cancelled. So this will be delta Ri dot Ri dot. Okay, in this way I can represent. So simply representing this term as 1 by 2 into delta Ri dot square. This is equal to 0. Again, this is Fi dot delta Ri. This minus term, this minus get plus 1 by 2. This Mi term is present here. Delta Ri dot square, that will be equal to, since you can see here, this term is negative. If I will take to the right hand side, this will be d by dt of Mi. This is your Ri dot delta Ri. Taking this Mi term inside the derivative, so the term, since it is a constant, so there will be no change in this term. Now this term we can write, this is your Fi dot delta Ri plus, I can take this delta out of the summation, so delta into sum over I 1 by 2 Mi Ri dot square, that is equal to sum over d by dt. This is your Mi Ri dot delta Ri. And again, if I will replace this one, that is this Fi dot delta Ri is nothing but delta W, that is the work done by the force Fi during the displacement delta Ri, that is your delta W. And here this is 1 by 2 Mi Ri dot square, since you know Ri dot is equal to your the velocity term. So this is half mv square, that is the kinetic energy of the system. So in this place, this is your delta into T, that is the kinetic energy, and that is equal to sum over d by dt Mi Ri dot delta Ri. Now integrating this equation between the limit t1 and t2, that is t1 to t2, delta W plus delta T into dt equal to integration from t1 to t2 sum over I d by dt of Mi Ri dot delta Ri into dt. So if I integrate this term, you can see here, this dt get cancelled. D of this much, that is you know the integration of dx equal to x. Okay, so in this way, if I will write the d of Mi Ri dot delta Ri integration, this will be simply this bracket item. Suppose if I will consider this term to be x, dx integration is x. So simply we can write d of something integration will be equal to this much, that is Mi Ri dot delta Ri, and over the integration, that is t1 to t2. Now it will change to the p to q. Since this is, we have to now integrate with respect to delta Ri, so we have to put the value from q to p. Since we know this delta Ri equal to 0, that means if I will choose any path between A and B, any path we can choose, at this point A and at this point B, there will be no deviation of the actual path from the neighboring path. That means at the point A, the actual path and the neighboring path, they will all merge at a point. Okay, so this at this point delta Ri is 0, and also at this point also, at the, this is P point, this is suppose Q point, at this point also all the path, that is the actual path as well as the neighboring path, they will merge. So the difference between this path at this point is 0. But at the midpoint or at any other point, you can see the difference between these two, that is the actual path and the neighboring path, delta varies. But at the point P and Q, since this is a fixed point, we can consider delta Ri to be 0. So here the integration goes to 0. So finally, for the conservative system, we can write delta W equal to minus del V, where V is the potential energy. Now if I substitute this value in the above expression, that is from this expression, this is your delta W plus delta dt equal to 0. Now if I will put in place of delta W, this is minus delta V. So this will be minus del V plus del T whole into dt, that is equal to 0. Okay. Now combinedly I can write integration over delta taking common, this will be T minus V into dt, that is equal to 0. Again, we can write taking delta sign common, integration from T1 to T2, T minus V into dt, that is equal to 0. And you know the Lagrangian L equal to T minus V, and in place of T minus V I can write simply L. So this integration from L dt over T1 to T2, that is equal to 0. Or since this integration value goes to 0, I can take this integration from T1 to T2, so that is equal to some point, that is your S, that is the extremum value, or it may be the extremum means the function may be smallest one or the largest one. So simply the Hamilton's principle states that for the 2 point, the condition is that if I will consider the actual path is like this, if I will consider any neighboring path, so you can see there is a difference between the two neighboring paths. But at the point P and at the point Q, the all point, that is all the neighboring path, they will get merged, and we can say that here the displacement equal to 0, and also at this point the displacement is 0, as well as the change in time equal to 0 at the point this P and at the point Q. Okay. So Hamilton's principle says that the integration over L dt for the actual path, that is from t1 to t2 integration, that will give always the extremum value, and it is denoted as S. It may be S or it may be J, and also the delta variation, that is the small variation of this L dt from the limit t1 to t2, it is equal to 0. So this is the deduction of the Hamilton's principle. So this is all for today. Thank you.